Hello, dear friends. Demons mistake kindness for weakness and nobility for idiocy because they interpret everything backwards. It is a very troubled week in the world. Opinion piece. Second, Renaissance. Restoration of life. Regeneration of the earth. Game of Thrones in secret. Brazil on the brink of a civil war. Hungary decides to leave the European Union. Global transformation resumes. China buys more gold for its currency. Half of all banks comply with Basel IV. Peace deal sought between Russia and Ukraine. Spirituality has nothing to do with poverty. Let's start. When the positive spiritual energy is strong enough, it would trigger the second renaissance of the history, the true spiritual awakening of the Aquarian age. And it would be the basis for the activation of Operation Dreamland, an operation of the forces of light to initiate a new renaissance on the surface of this planet, believes the Cobra contactee. The first Renaissance was 500 years ago and was initiated by a certain positive occult group behind the white nobility in 15th century Florence. The Renaissance was a European artistic movement beginning in the mid-15th century, characterized by a lively enthusiasm for the study of classical Greek and Latin antiquity. To be reborn means to be born again or to acquire a new spiritual life. Renaissance is the name given in the 19th century to a broad cultural movement that took place in Western Europe during the 5th and 16th centuries. 15th and 16th centuries. It was a transitional period between the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern era. Its main exponents were to be found in the arts, although there was also renewal in the sciences, both natural and human being. The city of Florence in Italy was the birthplace and development of this movement, which later spread throughout Europe. Mysteries of the Goddess. Contact has been made with lineages of the white nobility who were involved in the creation of the first Renaissance and who could also help with the second one. Contact with the white noble Grail lineages signifies the restoration of the mysteries of the Magdalene in preparation for the true revelation of the Goddess, who is the feminine energy of God. Many lightworkers have a belief system that spirituality means living in poverty. This belief system is mental programming of the clique. In truth, physical abundance is a natural expression of the beauty of the embodied soul, and every light worker deserves it. The clique wants to keep light workers away from money in order to hinder the progress of the forces of light. The second purpose of Operation Dreamland is to begin to spread the true occult teachings of the mystery schools of the Ascended Masters. For the past 26,000 years, this planet has been quarantined and almost completely isolated from direct contact with the Ascended Masters. Cleansing. The cleansing of the Chimera group continues, as revealed by the contactee Cobra. The forces of light are using modern technology to remove the black holes from the implants and the embedded grid on the planet's surface. When the critical mass of these black holes is removed, positive spiritual energy from the Buric plane will once again begin to precipitate into the mental, astral, etheric, and physical planes on the planet's surface for the first time since 1996. This positive spiritual energy will eventually dissolve the quantum anomaly of the black hole around the Earth and reactivate the accession process for this planet. It will connect the surface of this planet to the tunnels of light, which are the exact opposite of the tunnels of Z. The tunnels of light are connecting the entire universe into one, and will eventually ascend the entire universe into a giant rainbow ball of unity at the end of the next cosmic cycle. Millions of years ago, chemists built a huge particle accelerators, in plural, in the form of Dyson rings billions of kilometers in diameter in the regal star system in Orion. They used these Dyson rings to create enough condensed top quad and a strange quark to create enough toplet and strangelet bumps to control the regal star system and the Sun. Degenerate matter. They also used these particle accelerators to create other forms of degenerate matter. Degenerate matter is created under extreme pressure and temperature, and is so dense and compressed that the quantum effect influences its characteristics. The term is mainly used in astrophysics to refer to dense stellar objects where the gravitational pressure is so extreme that quantum mechanical effects are significant. This type of matter is naturally found in stars in their final evolutionary state, such as white dwarf and neutron stars, where thermal pressure alone is not sufficient to prevent gravitational collapse. In addition to the material for the toplet and strangelet bumps, they mostly produced large amounts of quark and gluon plasma, and also some neutron degenerate matter. A gluon is a particle that transmits a strong interaction. The gluon is the carrier boson of the strong nuclear interaction, one of the four fundamental forces. A quark is an elementary particle that is a component of other subatomic particles, such as the proton and neutron, that doesn't exist in isolation. In particle physics, a boson is one of the two basic types of elementary particles in nature. The other type is fermions. Much of this plasma of quark, gluons, and neutron degenerate matter was brought to Earth during the Great Invasion of 1996, and some of the remaining containers of these two types of degenerate matter are protecting the last well for the final assault of the forces of light. Other news. Leading scientists are trying to find technological signatures of external civilizations, including the Dyson spheres. Knowing their defeat is near, the Chimera group is trying to strengthen the quarantine by launching an absurd number of satellites into near-Earth orbit. The forces of light are trying to manifest a timeline in which a peace agreement is reached between Russia and Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine are engaged in a war that neither side is likely to win, and many people are getting tired of this war. So a peace agreement is finally becoming possible, like the Peace of Westphalia on the 11/11 armistice that ended World War I. Victory of the light. Reset news. Global transformation returns after the Christmas break, writes Benjamin Fulford. Brazil on the brink of civil war. Government collapse with mass protests. Riots in Brazil lead to more than 1,500 arrests, dozens injured and 6 in critical condition. Lula fled the capital to Rio de Janeiro with protesters on his heels. Bolsonaro hospitalized in Florida with abdominal pain since 30th December. This discomfort is a result of the stab wound he received in 2018 during an election rally. Brazil's uprising is the first of many to come in 2023, writes Mike Adams. Argentina says it has met IMF targets for 2022. Hungary, for its part, has decided to leave the European Union. Prime Minister Viktor Orban said during his New Year's speech other countries would follow suit. Greece does not recognize British ownership of the Parthenon marbles. The Pope called Lucifer God and Father of Christ, in quotes. What nonsense. USA. Supreme Court rejects case seeking to overturn 2020 election. However, Mark Sitter says they voted 5-4 to take up the Branson case, which could dissolve Congress and the administration. Strike by 7,000 nurses at New York's two largest hospitals, Montefiore in the Bronx and Mount Sinai in Manhattan. The Federal Reserve considers banning gas cookers nationwide. The Fed has declared war on inflation, but prices remain out of control. The economic turning point everyone has been waiting for its coming, writes Michael Snyder. Elon Musk breaks the Guinness World Record for the largest loss of personal wealth in history. Feds tell banks to dump cryptocurrencies in preparation for central bank digital currencies. Half of US banks were set to be Basel IV compliant on 3rd January. They would close some banks, but the QFS has doubled all accounts. China. In China, people are taking to the streets en masse to celebrate the end of confinement. Tens of thousands of travelers are crossing the borders between Hong Kong and mainland China to be reunited with their families after 3 years of confinement. Congratulations. China buys another 30 tons of gold in preparation for the launch of a new reserve currency. The yuan rebounds to an August high against the dollar after China reopens. China's foreign exchange reserves rise 0.33% in December. China recorded the highest number of hot days since 1961 in 2022. Forced organ harvesting in China amounts to the crime of genocide, experts say. Opinions. Buffner said bankers continue to hope for flexibility and a way to reclaim money that is not for the named groups. Nothing is being launched, but it will be launched in time. Jim Rickards believes that the next move by central banks has begun, and that they have not moved like this since the Second World War. Bix Ware believes the Mint is selling silver to reduce its price. Laura Abolichanel believes that all natural disasters can be manipulated. There is no need for soldiers because country can be devastated by floods, hurricanes, or earthquakes. The main enemy of the white hats would be the reptilian hybrids, says Kerry Cassidy. She wonders if the white hats are doing well or not. She believes that they don't want to win yet, that they continue to operate in secret, and that they believe that the worse things get, the more people will wake up and side with them. He believes this would be a big mistake. The more successful you are in overcoming a system of degradation, the more they will attack you. Nothing is as it seems. That is the only rule that can be applied to the actions of white hats. Black is white and white is black. Darkness parades as light, and the light as darkness. It is a game of thrones in secret. The name of the game is deception and subterfuge, until the moment it is not. Conflicting messages by Logan B. The Galactics tell us that they will not interfere directly with our dark problem on the surface, unless their plans are for immediate destruction of the planet or great loss of life. They tell us that it is our responsibility, but they have just said that they have finally given the dark their final ultimatum, that they will either transform immediately or be removed by them. The solar flash event is being held back until more of humankind is awake, even though the blue sphere beings have left the solar system that were holding back the energies. The idea that even well-intentioned groups will lead to sovereignty has never worked in the past. Ascension is not possible without individual sovereignty. Remember that once Gisara begins, we must put on the blinders and the collar to always look forward, to assist as many as possible to ascension. Never look back, but keep your intention focused on the now to achieve the abundant future we want for all. It doesn't hurt to do that now if you can. There is a battle coming that will separate the old from the new. The old energy thinkers will have to change, for if they do not, they will find themselves in an old consciousness within a new energy. The result of living in one energy while adopting the posture of another is disease. All lightworkers have unique modes of expressions, unique points of view, and unique and unrepeatable interpretations, says Basel IV. The same thing, seen from three different angles, acts as a triangulation. If we combine what we learn from all three, we get a clearer picture than any one of the three separately. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.